Namaste, everybody. Thank you so much for joining me once again. I'm your host, Ellen Nicholas Rathbone, life coach, sex educator, and sensuality consultant. Today, the topic is let's get physical. Now, we all have a body, but our bodies are constantly changing. That's not the same body that you had when you were a baby. Actually, every 7 years, it's like you get a whole new body. And the body is constantly rebuilding itself, changing itself, adapting to whatever you're giving it, whether it's food or water or sleep or relationships, toxic or otherwise. Your body is absorbing all of that. So that body is really one of the most greatest treasures that you have. And the health of your body is your greatest wealth. But in this crazy world, what I've noticed is that people would rather just use their minds and entertain their minds with, all the sparkly things, expensive things, and fancy cars, and whatever glitters. So their minds are occupied with that. They tend to be ignoring their spirit, that quiet little voice that says, "Hey, pay attention. This is direction we're supposed to be going." But the mind's not listening. And as far as the body is concerned, the body, for the most part, is being abused, whether it's being abused intentionally or because a person is just not thinking about it. So, in a neglectful kind of way, the body is being abused. So, now how is the body being abused? Well, if you eat food that has absolutely no nutritional value to it, it's like you're building a house with sand. It's going to fall apart. And, quite honestly, in this capitalist country that we live in, there's lots and lots of people that are just waiting for you to get sick so you can be a victim in today's society. And so that, first the doctors can make their prescriptions and the pharmaceutical companies can make their money. And then the lawyers can make some money when they sue the pharmaceutical companies for you. Everybody's making out except you. So if you are going to survive this life, and if you are going to do it gracefully, aging gracefully means aging mindfully and taking into account that you are the end result of all of your habits, good and bad. And if your habits do not include anything that is life sustaining, then you damn well better believe that you are going to fall apart. So, as I was mentioning, there are the body goes through a completely different change. So you don't look anything now like you did when you were an infant or 7 or 14, 21, 28, 35, 42, 49, 63, 70, 77. Doesn't look anything like any of those other ages. So what is going on is your body is changing and adapting, and your body has muscle memory. And that's why, you pretty much look the same way, because your muscles know what you looked like before. So they're just build on that. But if what you're building with is non-supportive crap, because that's really what it is, I hate to tell you, then that's what your body is building with, and it will fall apart. And I'm telling you, in this country in particular, nobody really cares if you get sick. In fact, if you do get sick, there's a whole bunch of people just waiting to help you. And quite honestly, none of them can help you get back to the way you were before illness. So the best thing to do is to prevent problems. Now, a lot of you are already having problems, whether you have fallen arches, whether you have had hip replacements, whether you have diabetes, arthritis, something's going on already. Okay. But if you do absolutely nothing to help to compensate or adjust or to work with that situation to at least slow up the deterioration or the illness, If all you're going to do is depend on drugs to get you by, that is actually speeding up the illness. I mean, you think that it's saving you, but it's causing a whole bunch of other problems. So, although one thing might be slowed up, other things have been started. So, the wisest thing to do is to look at yourself honestly and really take self-evaluation and say, what am I doing that is causing the wrinkles in my face, me to constantly be tired, my legs to hurt, and whatever else is going on. And instead of joking about it and then saying, oh, that's what happens when you get older, that's not what happens when you get older. I mean, sure, you might have a couple of aches and pains. You might not recover quite as quickly, but that is no excuse to allow your body to fall in disrepair. And that's what we all need. We need to keep our bodies from falling in disrepair. Now, if you want that to happen, depending on your age, if you're in your 20s and 30s, 3 times a week of some kind of physical exercise, some kind of mindful exercise, is really what your body just needs to get into the habit of taking care of yourself, top to bottom, inside and out, as far as the physicality is concerned. If you're trying to compete in something, then or improve in something, then you'll want to go 4 times a week. And if you really want to compete, then you go 5 to 6 times a week. And there's always that one day you absolutely need to rest, because resting is part of the process. And you don't always have to hit it hard. Sometimes it's a walk in the park. Sometimes it's a bike ride. Sometimes it's push-ups. Sometimes it's stomach crunches. As long as it is something, at least 3 to 4 times a week. It doesn't have to be a whole long thing. It doesn't have to be torturous, but it definitely has to be a message that you're sending to yourself that you want to be strong and healthy. Now, I've also noticed that, there are 3 basic body types. Western medicine calls them endomorph, ectomorph, and mesomorph. Ayurveda calls them Vata, Pitta, and Kapha. And I like the Ayurvedic terms, because there is actually a way to help yourself and to balance yourself out. So real quick, the Vatas are tall, thin people. And what kind of exercise do you think tall, thin people like to do? Or even short, thin people? I'll tell you, they like to run. Okay. And that's fine, but it's the worst thing for Vatas. All right. Because Vatas are very, very fast, and they want to slow their roll up to get their blood pressure down and to be nice to their dry joints. So running is not good for Vatas, okay? If anything, they want to try yoga. They want to slow the roll. They want to get in touch with their breath. They want to bring their blood pressure down, and they want to be at peace if possible. And then you have the Kaphas. The Kaphas are usually round people. They gain weight very, very easily. They have a much slower metabolism. They do not like running at all. They will run if necessary. And the amazing thing about them is they have the greatest endurance. They can run forever if they wanted to, because they have so much endurance. And it's not as bad for them on their joints or their back or any of that, because they have a lot more lubrication within their body to absorb that kind of punishment. All right. So what should a kapha do to balance out the fact that maybe they have a slower metabolism? They want to build some muscle, and they want to add a little bit of cardio on a daily basis. And then you have the pitta. The pitta is usually the more muscular of the other two. They gain weight relatively easily, but they metabolize it pretty fast. And the one thing that they do, and they love to do, if you go to any gym, you'll see all the pittas lifting weights. You know why? Because that's what comes easiest to them. But depending on where they are in their fitness, they might need to add a little bit cardio to that, and they definitely need to add some stretching to that. Because if you just lift weights, you are doing a very limited kind of workout. You want to round it all out. You want to include stretching. You want to include some kind of cardio, and you definitely want to include some kind of weight training. And that's for all three body types. But remember, if your body type is the kind that it's easy to run and you like running, that's because that comes easily. So you need to do the thing that doesn't come easily, which for many Vadas is yoga, okay? And the thing for Pittas, very easy to lift weights. They love to lift weights. What they don't like to do is run. So that's what they should be doing also. And Kaphas, what do they love to do? They love to stretch. So you'll see them in yoga classes all the time. And I'm not saying that yoga isn't good for a Kapha, but it's not going to help them take off that weight. The physical body is your greatest treasure. It is the vehicle that takes you from zero to however long you live on this planet. If you have respect for it, give it absolutely what it needs, it will amaze you in how resilient and strong it is. And investing in your body is the greatest investment you can make. Now, some people need to go to the gym. Okay, if that's where you need to go, then you should go and take up a membership and get whatever help you can and be consistent about it. Other people, they don't need to go to the gym. They can work out in their own home. They can use the world as their gym. As long as you get it done, that's the most important thing. Because as I said earlier, that's the only body you get. You cannot trade it in once you screw it up. And you can never get to the perfect place that you were when you were, say, in your 20s, if you have allowed all kinds of other diseases to come in. Now, unlike other animals on this planet, and believe me, we are an animal, either we, because of our mind and our ability to feel, can actually slow up the aging process and actually reverse it. But this is a mindful process. This is not just something that you think about and say, okay, I'm getting younger just thinking about it. No, you actually have to do the actions that a younger person would do. And so maybe you won't run your first day. Maybe you'll just take a short walk. And then the next day, a little longer walk. And then the next day, a little longer. Building your steps, one little thing at a time, will actually bring about phenomenal changes in your body. If you don't trust your body because the pharmaceutical industry and doctors have told you, well, here's a pill, we'll fix that with this pill, then you've been brainwashed, because the human body is absolutely amazing. Within the skin are all the pharmaceuticals you could possibly ever need or want. If you do not believe in the ability of your body to heal itself, you should check out Ayurveda, and they will tell you everything that I'm telling you, plus stuff. The body is amazing, but you've got to give it the chance. And if you are not giving it what it needs in physical challenges, then your muscles will shrink, the fat layer will grow, all the chemicals in your body will go into an imbalance, because that's not what your body is supposed to be, mostly fat and a little bit of muscle. And then things will get difficult. God forbid you fall, broken leg, broken hip. That's the end of that. Okay. So this is an encouragement. Number one, to love yourself enough to know that no matter what else you think is important during the course of the day, nothing is more important than taking care of yourself. And if that includes a power walk or some push-ups or, whatever kind of physical challenge to get your body moving on a daily and consistent basis, that's what you should be doing. I always recommend at the end of every one of my shows that everybody should do their Kegels every single day. And if you're not sure what Kegels are, they are squeezing the PC muscles, which are the muscles that surround the urethra. So you usually squeeze them when you have to pee and there's no bathroom in sight, you squeeze them. Okay, so that's an exercise on the inside, and it is very important to do. Believe me, there are lots of people waiting for your shit to fall apart. And I'm waiting to see you take the bull by the horn, love yourself enough to know you deserve to take good care of yourself, find out what works for you, and do it. Thank you so much for joining me this evening. My name is Ellen Rathbone, and I am a sensuality consultant, a life coach, sex educator, and I do have my certification in personal training. So I know how important physical fitness is, and I'm a product of the product. So I know you could be a product of the product too. No meds, sleep well, everything else is going well. And that's because I take good care of myself. I'd like to see you take good care of yourself too. Thank you so much for joining me tonight. See you next week for another episode of Your Pleasure Incorporated into Daily Living. Thanks for joining me. Bye for now.